Hello everyone, thanks for watching today. I got a special one for you. It's been a long time since I've made a video, but I'm back, at least for a little while, because I feel like doing something today. I'm going to be showing you how to polish paint on a car. I've got this Harbor Freight brand, Bauer brand, dual action polisher. We just cleaned the paint, so you've seen my previous videos on how to wash the car and everything. We decontaminate the paint and clay barred it, so we're good to go there. Next step's going to be polishing it, and I'm going to show you what kind of products I'm going to be using and how to do it with the proper technique. Alright guys, thanks for joining DIY Dad today. I'm going to be going over the steps that I do for polishing and correcting paint, as we like to call it, paint corrections. So I'm preparing the car to do a ceramic coating. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be removing like any fine scratches and scuffs or anything like that. So if you have like some scratches, I'm going to show you how to buff those out. It goes pretty good. So the first thing you want to do is clean your car really well. And I used a neutral car soap that doesn't have any sort of like wax fillers or anything like that. It's just a bare bones strip soap that basically takes the paint down to nothing, so it's completely bare. It's not slick or anything like that, so we're going to take care of that in a later step. But the first thing you want to do after you decontaminate the paint, and I've got a product for that, I'll show you what I was using. I've got this Adam's iron remover, and I've used other iron remover products before, but I think this one actually smells the least terrible, so that one I recommend. It does work pretty good. You can also use the Meguiar's all-wheel cleaner. This stuff actually, when you spray it on the surface, it starts to dissolve iron contaminants, and it actually turns purple. There's a chemical reaction, and I made a video on that before, but it basically breaks down any sort of like iron fallout or any sort of contaminants that are bonded on the surface of the paint. So you spray that on, scrub it, wash it again, and dry everything. And then the next step after you get everything totally clean is you want to walk around the car and just do an assessment. Figure out, okay, how aggressive do I have to be? What kind of pads am I going to need? Do I have to really, get down and get deep scratches out? Or is it just like a really surface polish that needs to be done? So, if I get in close, you can see like there's some like fingernails maybe scratched up the paint a little bit in here. I've got a couple of little scuffs here. Now, if you run your fingernail along it, if you feel your fingernail drag on the scratch, it's too deep, it's probably not going to buff out completely. You're going to have to repaint it if it is down to the base coat color, but if it's just the clear coat that's scratched, you shouldn't have a problem with it. I do have a little bit deeper scratch that I just found last week, and this is kind of taking me off, but I think I might be able to get, it's not going to go away completely. It's smooth, but I do feel just a little bit, so I don't think it's going to come out completely, but we will hit that with something a little bit stronger and see if we can take that out. But overall, I just have like a couple of little pinstriping areas right here. You can kind of see a little scratch there, but overall this car is only a 2019, so it's not horrible, but it does need a little bit of love to get it back to 100%. Now, most people will say, hey, your car looks totally fine. Yes, silver hides scratches and dirt really well, which I really like about it. Now, I do have a couple areas that might need some touch-up paint, like you can see here. Also, someone threw an egg at my car. If you follow my Instagram, you'll probably see that I was a little angry about that, but kids, don't ever throw eggs at cars. It will actually take paint completely off. So this is some leftover damage. Luckily, I caught it in time. If I would have left this sit on the paint any longer, it would have eaten through completely, so not good. So anyway, that is the assessment. We've got a few deep scratches. Overall, it just needs like just a good base polish. So what I'm gonna do, I've got a couple different pads here. These are just the Harbor Freight ones, but you can get like the Lakes, I think it's called the Lake Country pads. Those are pretty popular. A little bit more expensive, but they also have like a green pad and a white pad too, but I just grabbed like the polishing pads. This is like a medium aggressiveness, and this one's basically no aggressiveness at all. It's just very, very light. So what you want to do is you want to pick the pad and pair it with the type of polish that you're going to be using. So depending on how aggressive you want to go, you go with a more aggressive pad and maybe a medium aggressive compound or polish. And I usually say start very light and work your way up. Do a test spot, see how it's doing. Just do like a little 1x1 square. and then if you need to go more aggressive, work your way up. Unless you know what kind of paint you have, Subarus are notorious for having very soft paint, so I know that it doesn't take much to correct this paint. So I've got a couple different types of polish here. I'll show you what I've got. So from the most aggressive to least aggressive, I did have some medium cut polish. I don't know where that stuff is, but compound is typically going to be the most aggressive, and then a polish is kind of like a finishing. It's very, very mild abrasive, so what you're doing with paint correction is you're basically like very lightly abrading the surface, and it's shining it up. So least aggressive is going to be this stuff here. It's kind of a diminishing compound, so it starts out more aggressive, and as you work it more, it starts to lighten up. The polish is going to give you a higher gloss, but not cut as harshly as this stuff, so it's more for finishing, or if you don't have any deep scratches, that's a good one. I like the Ultimate Polish. It's the Scratch X kind of goes along with that. This is just for like touch-ups and stuff, but the ceramic polish is good for doing jobs that don't require a lot of corrections, so I might do most of the car with this and the medium pad. And then when we're done with that, we're going to take a microfiber cloth with the surface prep, and we're going to spray this on the paint, and just to clean it when we're done before we coat it. So that's pretty much the rundown of polishes and pads. So normally I'll be working from top to bottom whenever I'm polishing, but because I want to make an example for this video here, and I picked the harshest scratch that's probably not going to come out, we're going to do some results here. So I've got the blue pad, and I picked the Ultimate Compound. I'm going to shake it really good first, and hopefully you can see that, but essentially what I'm going to do is put 4 or 5 dots on here, and we want to like spread it around first and then turn it on, otherwise you're going to fling the stuff everywhere. So what we're going to do is, you could do like an S pattern. Some people just do like dots like this. You can do that. You can do, apparently I'm running low. I don't know, get some good on. The first time you do it, you're going to have to like load the pad, as they say, because it doesn't have anything on it yet, so put a little extra. That's good. You don't want too much, but anyway, we're only working one panel at a time. Let me set that aside. We're going to throw the cord over your shoulder like this, so that way the cord isn't hitting the paint, scratching it as you're working. So cord over the shoulder. And before we turn it on, we want to like do this deal. We're gonna kind of dab a little bit and move it around just to work it in. And then I'm gonna pick like a medium speed. This thing goes up to 6. I know we don't want to go too crazy, but I'll usually start like a 3 and work up from there. And the amount of pressure you want to use, just a little bit more than the weight of the device itself. So if you set it down on the paint, you're not pressing down because you'll burn through the paint too fast. So you just want just light pressure, not super light that it's hanging off, but let the machine do the work. So I just kind of, whatever the weight of the polisher is itself. So put it on the surface lightly, turn it on. Don't want to work too much because the paint does get hot from this working, but luckily we're in the garage, so we won't have that problem as bad. Let me grab my microfiber, we'll wipe it off, and we'll take a look. Brand new Costco microfibers. You want to make sure you've got something nice and soft when you're working on paint correction. So the scratch is still there. I didn't think it would come out entirely, but it's definitely better than it was. We can hit it a second time and see if we can remove it a little bit more. I'll probably do that. And we'll go from there. Let me get some more compound on here. I don't think I'll need the compound for the whole car, just this particular bit here. Yeah, that's about as good as it's gonna get, I think. So if you hit it more than a couple times like that and the scratch isn't coming out, count your losses, move on. We minimized it a little bit. We took the rounded the edges a bit, so it's better than it was. And everything around it is a lot smoother now too, so kind of brings out that pop a little bit in the paint, so that way it's a little bit more vibrant and everything too. So let me get this off the tripod. We'll move it over. You can see it's not perfect, but from a distance, it's not as bad as it was. Okay, the hood isn't nearly as bad, so I'm going to go straight to this finishing compound, finishing polish. Same deal. I'll just maybe do... It's not gunked up in here. That's a little bit much, but we'll work a big section. Again, cord over the shoulder. You especially want to be careful on these ridges here on the hood where the surface kind of flows. You don't want to put a lot of pressure, especially on the high point here, because you can burn through this clear coat really fast up on this high point here. So, work in the middle here, and then don't stay in one spot for too long. Keep it moving. That's the real ticket here. Keep her moving. So that's just how you prevent damage to the paint. And like I said, that much weight, maybe just support it a little bit. We're not bearing down on it, okay? So I did maybe a, 2 foot by 3 foot section. You don't want to go any bigger than that because you want to wipe and remove your polish as you go, because this stuff will stick on here and it'll be difficult to remove, especially if you're not working in the shade. So keep in mind, do this if you're going to work outside. Do it early morning or late evening. And notice I'm not going in circles when I'm wiping off. I'm going back and forth like this to remove the polish. Ooh, she's silky now. And I can already tell a difference. It's probably not showing up on camera, but this has quite a bit more shine than this half here. It's got really fine micro scratches almost, like a haze. And this is just more like a mirror. So guys, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you found this video useful. If you like more content like this, give this video a thumbs up. Like and subscribe. I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot for supporting the channel over all this time and everything that's been going on. So I really appreciate it, guys. If you want more content like this, leave a comment below. Until next time, thanks for watching.